Hello, and hello again. Hello, everybody. This is Ziff Sistrunk, and we are live today. And wow, do we have a show for you? I got a special guest. But I'll tell y'all a couple of things that have been happening today. But we always start our show off with Mr. Diver. Did I say that right? Driver. I always get the D's wrong. We had Bob Dabber, and now we have Diver. Bob Dabber was set in that same city, ran for governor, and did good. I got a special guest for you guys today. My name is Ziff Sistrunk, the man who does not know the most. But one thing I do know, that every time we start our show off, Mr. Driver. I'm driving my car.
Gotcha.
Mr. Driver's my guest. Every time we start this show off, Mr. Driver, we start off with a moment of silence for people who have lost their lives to violence here in the city, the state, and in the county, and in this United States. And today, I was with the family, Mr. Driver, of the kid that the police shot yesterday on 47th Street. Just out of your ward, sir. I just gave it away, right? Out of your ward. But you see the t-shirt. Let me stay serious, guys. I was with the family all day today. The family of the young man, Maurice was his first name. And his last name was Granton. The police killed him on 47th and the Green Line. So today we want to dedicate this show to him and his mom and grandma and sisters and friends. So we always, Mr. Driver, have a moment of silence. So if you will join us. And I thank you. I have a young man here today. Oh, they put it where your phone can be, huh? Go live then, huh? Mr. Driver is a young man, and he wants to be, guess what? Take a guess. Does he want to be the mayor? Does he want to be the congressman? Or does he want to be the alderman?
Take alderman for 100.
You're pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Driver. What's your first name?
Anthony.
Oh, he's going to win. He's going to win. He's got my name. Anthony. Ziff Anthony Sistrunk.
Great name.
Tell us, who is Anthony Driver? And you should look there, because that's where they're talking to you. They're looking at you.
Okay. Well, my name is Anthony Driver Jr. I'm a Howard University alumni, fourth generation resident of the 20th Ward. I guess I consider myself an activist, an entrepreneur. I've traveled the country, traveled the world.
Wow.
And I've done work all over the city of Chicago. I've done work in Washington, D.C., as well as Ghana and South Africa.
Wow.
And my heart really never left the south side of Chicago, the back of the arts community, 20th Ward. And that's how I ended up back here, back at home, doing this work.
And he gave the tip to you all. He said the 20th Ward. Why should we be concerned about the 20th Ward and you? Tell me.
You should be concerned about the 20th Ward because three out of our last four aldermen have been arrested or indicted. And once that kind of pessimism sets in, I think it can demoralize a community. This is a community that's very close to the Red Line, to the Dan Ryan Expressway, very close to downtown. It's a hot commodity, and our people in the 20th Ward, although they're resilient, they have been suffering for a long time, and they're thirsty and they're hungry for change. And I believe I'm the man to bring them that change.
Now, you went to Howard University, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me ask you another question then. What did you study at Howard?
I studied political science and history.
Wow, and now you're putting it to action.
Putting it to work. So I actually left Chicago, and you spoke about gun violence and people who've lost their lives. And that's the direct reason why I'm here right now. I graduated from high school on June 11th. June 13th, my best friend was murdered. From that day forward, I made the decision that instead of me going to University of Michigan or one of the other 16 schools I had gotten into, that I would go to Howard University, a black institution. I would study politics at the highest level. I would study politics in Congress. I would study politics as a lobbyist, on the ground as an activist, and I would always hit the mine to get back to my community.
Wow.
Because this is where my heart is, and this is where it will always be.
Good. Let me ask you something. You mentioned you went to Howard. What high school? You didn't say high school.
Ralph Ellison. So right off 80th and between Honoree and Ashland.
I'm going to get in trouble, but this is something I always do. Not just this is him, but everybody. When they tell me they went to a school, I always ask, who was that person? Who was Ralph Ellison?
Ralph Ellison wrote. He's one of the most famous black authors. He wrote *The Invisible Man*. one of the most historical books for our people. I would argue top 3 black author in the world. So definitely influential man. And his book was actually about HBCUs and black institutions, and to a certain extent how those schools could have been used to, control our people. So it's a famous author.
Your 20th ward, what is some of the needs of the 20th ward?
Top of the list, violence, education, workforce development. We have a lot of abandoned properties in the 20th ward. We have our elderly are not being taken care of properly. Property taxes are forcing many residents in the 20th ward out of the city. So that's just to name a few of the issues that we're facing in our community. That we're going to beat in our community.
So now, if that means that let's see, the lady went to jail, right? Mm-hmm. Who else went in 20? Well, we don't have to call them, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be heading to jail, do it?
I will not ever step foot inside of a jail cell, God willing.
Unless it's to visit someone.
Unless it's to visit and support someone, yes.
No, I don't see a ring, so let the ladies know. Are you married or are you single? Are you one of the guys that don't wear his ring?
No. So I am not married.
Bam! Ladies, start calling right now. 312-738-1060. Go ahead. You were going to say...
I'm definitely taken. There is someone who has my heart. I'm not married. I'm focused on my community right now.
Okay, good. But there's someone got your heart.
Yes, sir.
Miss Hard, will you call in and tell us what kind of guy it is? You can tell us what kind of guy this guy really, really is. But we're going to take his word. But we're going to do a background check, too. Now, what you say the three things that's important to the 20th ward. And you said crime.
Violence.
And what are the other two?
Violence, our elderly, and jobs.
Employment.
Yes, sir.
The gang violence. Now, I hate saying the gang violence because this is not gang violence. There's family violence, domestic violence. How do you work with the university? Are you going to work with the University of Chicago, first of all?
Yes, to the extent that they're willing to work with us in the community, and it mutually benefits both parties. So what I won't be doing is working with the University of Chicago if it's not going to mutually benefit us, which I think has happened in the past.
Okay, good. Now, are you for or against the Obama Library or Obama Center?
I am for the Obama Center. I think he is a favorite son of Chicago, but I think there needs to be a community benefits agreement in place, and that's not in place and is badly needed. And I think the president should be ashamed of himself for not supporting a community benefits agreement, considering this is the city that gave him his start.
Wow. What do you think of President Trump giving Robert Gurvich? First of all, do you think Robert Gurvich should be released? That should be the first question.
Absolutely not. I think we get so used to politicians going to jail in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois that we kind of become numb to it. But if the people in my community have to face justice and they're not getting pardoned, then he should not be pardoned either.
So you're against Robert Gurvich being released?
Absolutely.
Now, Ziff, you are a host, so you cannot get personal with people, even though you're our favorite of Robert Gurvich, so get a guy a pass. Well, he's an honest politician, and that's what I respect about him, because you already know I disagree with him, but he took the stand. He said Robert Gurvich was one who did criminal offense, and he should be penalized.
The thing is, I'm not anti-Rod, so I'm not against him. All I'm saying is, if you're going to show him leniency, show that to the same brothers and sisters who are sitting in jail for marijuana offenses while everyone else is making money off of it. So when you show those people leniency and clemency, then I'm willing to show him clemency.
So do you think he could be the catalyst for change?
I think the catalyst for change should be not just one person who's governor, but the thousands of black men who still sit in jail for nonviolent drug offenses. That should be where we start. Not at the top, somebody who's well off and has had his reign in power and did not do a very good job of it.
Wow. Oof. Man, it's hot, y'all. Hot Alderman. I can't wait for 2020. What's the boundaries of 20?
So it's part of Woodlawn, parts of Back of the Yards, Greater Grand Crossing, Washington Park. I'm not sure if I said Woodlawn already. And a small part of Inglewood.
Okay. And how far south?
So it goes right up to the University of Chicago's border.
About 59. And how far north?
Back of the Yards is where it stops.
Back of the Yards is like west, over on near before you get to Ashland, before you get to Halston area.
Yep. Well, Halsted, which is actually where I live, is still a part of the ward.
Who are you going to endorse? Who do you endorse for mayor?
No, I will not be making an endorsement today. I will say that
See, we get you on this show. We set you
it's
up.
too early. I want to know what's in it for the people. So until people, right now we're still in the stage of the political spectrum where they're still giving generalities. I support community schools. I support this. I want to hear the specifics. And until these candidates start nailing down specifics, there will not be an endorsement
You
for
see a
me.
briefcase anywhere, a black one?
Oh,
Thank you. Let's leave it. I just want to make
okay.
sure. Now, let me ask you something. I got to get serious with this guy, y'all, because I'm beginning to think he seriously wants to be the alderman. So
I'm serious about my people.
let me ask you something. Youth. What are your programs for youth, for young people?
So what I want to do is every alderman gets a $97,000 expense account every year. Most of them use it to rent cars, pay for office space, things of that nature. What I want to do is start a job training program, a workforce development program, where the youth know that 3 days a week within the ward office, you can come into the ward office, you can get resume building, resume critique. You can
In the office of the alderman?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It's like a social.
Why should that not
like
be
a service center?
that should be the hub. Our black churches and our community churches and our Hispanic churches should be a hub of civic engagement, but also the ward office. That's where you should be able to go to get those services. And those the office should be open at least 9 hours, 8 hours every single day, and you should be able to come into the office and receive those services.
What do you? The CPS just had a scandal with kids, a sex scandal with children. Give me a line of someone.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous, but it's not surprising. It's more of the status quo. It's more of what's been happening forever. Sweep it under the rug. Goes back 10 years before the current mayor, and also during his term, and nobody has cared enough to clean it up.
Wow. We have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Hi.
So I wanted to ask a question about something that the guest just said in terms of this being a sort of pervasive, long-standing problem in Chicago public schools. As you know, the mayor is in charge of that, and he's been for some time. Do you think that the answer is to take the power away from the mayor and return it to the people through an elected school board, or should the city council take the schools over? What, in his estimation, would be the best course of action to move forward?
Thank you for that question.
Definitely, thank you. Thank you for that question. Thank you for taking the time to call in. I 1,000% support an elected school board. I think that's the way to go. I'm all for putting citizens back in the driver's seat. I'm all for giving power back to the people, and that's one of the ways that we can do that. We need to democratize that process, and our community should be able to elect the people who represent our children.
What does democratize mean?
It means, I can give you a technical definition, I can give you a real definition, the definition in action.
No, give me a common man.
Right.
Definition.
So when I speak about democratizing this process, I mean I want you to speak to our people directly. I want you to be able to know your alderman, congressperson on a name basis. I don't want you to send out surrogates to talk to other surrogates to then reach the people. I think you should go straight to the people, and I think people should be able to vote on most issues that affect them, specifically the school board in this instance.
Good. AG, that caller still is up there, AG. Caller, are you there? AG? That caller is still live. Is that another caller? Caller, are you there? Tell me where you grew up at.
I grew up in the back of the yards area. It used to be the 3rd ward I guess before they redistricted in 2010, and now it's the 20th ward, 4th generation resident of that community. Grandmother's mother has been in that community, father, grandfather, precinct captain, city workers have been living in that community, and owning property in that community for the last, I would say, since 68 is when they first moved in.
Do you think Obama didn't think gentrification was taking place? Do you think gentrification is taking place here in the city of Chicago?
I know gentrification is taking place in the city of
Is it
Chicago.
taking place in the 20th ward?
Absolutely. Kennedy King is moving right on down Halsted, and it's forcing a lot of people out of their homes. The property taxes are going up. The value of the
Did
homes
you
are
say
going
Kennedy
up.
King or you meant Chicago, University of Chicago?
No, I meant Kennedy King.
What do you mean?
Kennedy King on Halsted, right?
Well, you mean they're moving another building?
No. When I was growing up, Kennedy King was very far up Halsted. They're building downward now, so it's coming further down Halsted, and you're starting to see.
Kennedy King is building some things?
Yeah, they have been for the last. Well, they have been for the
I only
last.
saw
10 years.
63rd Street.
Right, but when it didn't always start there.
Oh, okay.
It did not always start there.
AG, caller is there. We have a caller. Caller, you're on. Hello? AG, did we lose the caller? Okay, well, just call back caller again. Let me ask you something. the aldermanic election is getting ready to start in August. The governor's race. What's your position on Bruce Rauner, and what's your position on J.B. Pritzker?
I think at all costs, Bruce Rauner has to be kicked out of office.
Why?
I think he has failed our communities. I think he has did exactly what I just said. He reaches surrogates to reach the black community.
Believe me, y'all, I'm not gonna let him get away with that. That Bruce Rauner destroyed the communities.
No, I didn't say he destroyed it. I didn't say he destroyed it. No one person is responsible for destroying it. The whole system is responsible for destroying it.
Okay, let's take this caller so we don't get destroyed. Caller, you're there. Caller? AG, bring the caller up. Okay, caller, AG, let's not lose those calls. That's important. They want to address this automatic candidate. So let's get them on. Okay, sorry about
Hey,
that.
Bip.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Hey, Bip, how you doing?
Bip is my brother. I'm Ziff.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, this is Steve.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, man? And I'm going to get on you in a second. But the young gentleman, he says something that's truly, truly something to think about. These churches, and I mean these mega churches, why they can't be open where people could be in there helping the community, registering people for different things or whatnot, but they close. On Sundays, they wide open, though. You know, they take that, change from you then. But they need to learn to help the community a little bit more.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on for a second.
All
How
right.
can the churches in the 20th ward help you with doing the job that you want to do?
I don't know where the 20th ward is.
Well, I know he's running in 20. 20 is on like University of Chicago. Let's ask, and then I want to come back to you. How can you get your churches involved? You had said something.
So our churches have to be a hub of civic engagement. If you're thinking about even in the Christian context, Jesus spent most of his time outside of the church. He didn't spend most of his time in the temple. So I want to bring that back. What I want to do is start an exchange program between churches and non-for-profits where we leverage technology to be able to allow these different churches to, trade back and forth with each other instead of having to go to these larger companies. I also want to make sure that the churches still are getting the support that they get right now, but with strings attached. So if you're going to be getting these city grants, if you're going to be getting these city privileges, if you're going to be getting these different permits, all that I ask is that you give something back to the community. And
You're
that
right.
we're actively
That's
monitoring these churches to make sure that they're doing the work that they are saying that they're doing, which a lot of them are. I don't think all of these churches are bad. But we just want to make sure we hold them accountable.
Caller, you wanted to
Yes.
ask another
Why
question?
don't you sometimes go to Jesse? Go to Jesse and see what Jesse will help you out. But listen, another
Say he
thing.
don't want to deal with the past. He want to deal with the future.
What are you doing with a Pittsburgh cap on your head, man?
That's my
Take
summer
that
team.
Take the cap off. Just take it off, and everything be all right.
Now, let me tell you, my summer team is the Pirates in Jackson Park. But let me tell you
okay
something.
then.
Guess what? The only team that has ever put 9 black ball players on the field at one time. It was the
Well,
Pittsburgh Pirates.
listen. Let me tell you. I told you in Little League, we had all black ball players down there in Washington Park, and that was in '59. So again, but the sad thing about it now, man, you don't see kids want to play baseball anymore.
You're gonna
out
bring
in the parks.
Let me ask him. You're gonna bring sports into your ward because only the aldermans in the hundreds, the 34th ward, are really interested in sports.
That's right.
Yeah,
Carrie
Jackie
Austin,
Robinson,
she take care of the
JRW,
34.
all of those kids out there get really good baseball. Us down here, we don't have it. Our aldermans don't like sports.
I believe we have to use recreation as a tool to reach the youth.
Well, they got it in the A4 too, down there at Coles Park and Thule Park. It's not as strong what it used to be, but like you say, you got to get the aldermans. See, we was lucky in the 34th Ward. They support the baseball, JRK,
Big time.
JRW out there. They support them.
Yeah.
So you need to get in contact with not just that,
AG.
get in contact with the public schools, get the schools that's in your ward, and you could get something going. Listen, Bill, you're a hell of a good man, man. I would like to see you every week.
Thank
Let
you.
me get out there so I can hear your response.
Thank you. About sports in the neighborhood.
I think-
Is sports important to kids' lives?
Absolutely. So I'm actually launching my campaign this Saturday, but before that I was having a community rally on Friday, and that was the center of it. So we were going to use sports. There's going to be a basketball tournament, a bunch of recreational
Where?
activities
Where
for
at?
that was going to be at.
Well, where's some gonna be? Don't tell us where it wasn't.
Well,
Tell us where it's gonna be.
it's raining tomorrow, so we have to reschedule. But so it's going to be on 50th, 51st, and
Y'all know this man
Austin.
gonna win. This man is God.
So
I want your phone number. So when it don't rain tomorrow, I'm gonna call you and say, I thought it was gonna rain.
hey, well, I don't want my community to come out and be disappointed when we get rain now. So therefore, we'll just push it back a week or so.
So it's gonna be next week. And
Absolutely.
what is it gonna be and what's gonna happen?
So it's a community rally. You'll be able to register to vote. You'll be able to hear more about what I have going on. I'll also be supporting a 10 by 10 to win voting block. There'll be basketball, football, racing, all types of different recreational activity. Bounce houses for the smaller kids, free food, free soda, water, all of that.
Wow, that should get some people out of there. Now we got a few more minutes left, about five minutes. Oh, look at that, it's pretty good. Let me ask you something. I want you to take a minute, and I'm going to be quiet, and I want you to look into the camera, and I want you to tell people why they should vote for you, and why you're running for alderman.
I'm running for alderman because the stakes are too high. As a young person, 25-year-old, I fully understand the demographic that we speak about a lot, who's experiencing this gun violence. I've experienced it firsthand. I've been able to make it out of the south side of Chicago by the grace of God and study at Howard University and study in different countries and figure out how I can best get back to support my community. I'm here, I'm present, I will never leave this community. I have brilliant ideas. I would love for you to learn more about my campaign. Come out to support me. You'll see this is a campaign that no one else has ever ran in the city of Chicago. It will be completely focused on residents, completely focused on citizens. I am not running for alderman in the city of Chicago or the 20th ward. My community is running for alderman in the 20th ward. And that's what this campaign will be about, putting citizens back in the driver's seat. If you would like to learn more about my campaign, please visit driverfor20th.com. That's driverforth.com.
Wow, pretty good. Well, you heard it right here on Greenslate Institute for Justice. It's never too late to get in the driver's seat, right?
Never too late.
Right.
We're coming.
Do you believe in seatbelts?
Of course. I do believe in seatbelts.
Some people don't.
I believe in seatbelts. I want to make it. I don't want to die.
What if some of your constituents, I want you to tell your constituents for a minute why they should not drive in tanks? Because they won't be around to vote for you, right?
Well, that's part of it, but we also want to make sure that you're contributing to our community, and you definitely can't do that if you're in an accident or you're paralyzed or you, God forbid, you hurt someone else.
And I want you to do something else that I have never done, but I'm going to start doing it. I want you to look into that camera. And I want you to talk to the Chicago policemen in the 20th Ward over there on 78th Street and tell them how you want them to conduct business in your ward.
78th?
No, it's the night.
You're in
So
you're in 20.
Yeah, here's something interesting.
But there's a police station on 78th and Cottage.
Yeah, but there is no police station in the entire 20th ward. So when they were redistricting, they did not think about us at all.
But no,
It's in the 9. We had the 9.
I live in the 9th district.
okay, you're running for what ward?
20th.
The police station is on 87th and Cottage.
And that is not part of the 20th ward, sir.
That's not the 20th.
The police in 78th
That's
and Cottage goes over to 20. They do not?
No, we're serviced by different stations. All I'm
I
saying,
know,
there's no
but
station
they are
within the
service.
ward.
I know. That's the police station that service us on 78th and Cottage.
Well, there's a bunch of police stations service.
I'm talking specifically 78th and Cottage service us.
but around the 20th.
Talk to the police station, policemen who serve your ward.
Definitely. So,
I think you understood my point.
no, I definitely got you. I just want to provide a point of clarity. To the police officers, I would ask that you do some research, do some soul searching, and realize that our community is in the condition that it's in, not by choice. So when you're out there and you're taking these tough stances and tough policing that you consider tough policing, I would ask that you consider how we got to this point first. Secondly, I would ask you stop being scared of our community and using deadly force. That's completely not necessary, and it will not be tolerated by us. And third, if you want to work with our community, do not talk at us. Come and talk to us. Be proactive instead of reactive.
And I'm talking to you now, and you've just heard Mr. Daver and his producer, executive director, campaign manager, staff, and everybody else, Mr. Sergio. If a task once begun, my mother used to always say, if a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Bit the label. Big or small, Alderman, never leave it until it's done. Good night. See you next week. And don't forget, vote for
Anthony Driver.